Greetings to all of you. Welcome to my channel. Of course, I'm Caesarina, and tonight I really want to take some time to talk about something that has been on my heart for a while. To be honest, I've been pondering a lot about that situation and wasn't sure, to be honest, like what direction to take. Where do I start? What do I say? And it's not because I don't have stuff to say. I think it's because it's just overwhelming just thinking about that situation. Um, Many of you know that I am from Dominica, Portsmouth to be exact. And in recent times, we've had some very unfortunate, I would say, situations that have been unfolding, particularly as it pertains to the relationship that exists between some of our young people, particularly our young men, who have been sadly hurting each other through gun violence. Um, it is not a norm, but I'm afraid that if it's not curbed, that this situation could turn into what we would hate to think is a norm. Um, Obviously, over the years, we have had those situations, and there have been many schools of thoughts about why things are happening, why these things are happening, who is to blame, who should take all the blame, who started it, and so on. And at this point, I personally don't think that it's the time for us to point fingers, but I really think it's a time for us to look for solutions to the problem, or to the problems rather, that are triggering this situation that is unfolding in our town. There have been years where we have had similar situations and where we have lost quite a few of our boys, quite a few of our young men. And in some instances and related matters, we have lost some grown men in the process. Prior to going even deep into this, I would want to take the opportunity as well to talk about what exactly this whole gun violence issue is, and to shed some light, I should say, maybe on just this whole phenomenon, because I think, first of all, we must understand that gun violence is not indigenous to Dominica, to Portsmouth, to the Caribbean. I said it in a previous video some time ago that we in the Caribbean, we don't make guns. Or if somebody started doing it, it's not too long ago that they would have started doing it. But guns exist tremendously and in large proportions within our region. Guns exist in large proportions in the world. So there is concern, and all of us who has blood and flesh flowing through our beings should be concerned. Nobody is immune. Nobody is immune. And I dare say, absolutely nobody is immune to the dangers of this thing called gun violence. So I found myself reading an article that had to do with a town hall meeting that was held on the 21st of September in the United States, particularly as it related to gun violence and gun violence prevention in a place called Wizata. And a number of people attended, and some of them shared their views. And I wanted to quote a little bit from some of the views of one of the U.S. representative. Her name is Kelly Morrison, who said, and by the way, the gathering was, you could say, quite a sizable one. Probably not in the context of U.S. population, but probably for a small town where that occurred, where the shooting of students in a school, a Catholic school, just unfolded not too long prior to that. There was about 450 people in attendance, and she addressed the gathering. And one of the things that she said is that, among some of the things rather that she said, is that gun violence is pervasive and it's destructive, and it affects everyone: our children, people in rural areas, people in urban areas, people everywhere. She said it is difficult to overstate the ripple effect of gun violence through our communities and across the country. Morrison went on to say that there is no single solution to gun violence. There is no single solution to gun violence, and no one person has the solution to gun violence. Then, of course, you had a nurse who also is from within that area and has children who attended that school. And she's the mother of two students, by the way, there. She said her 9-year-old daughter was shot in the back and in the arm. And that nurse's name is Malia Kimbrell. And she said, "You've heard the saying, misery loves company. Well, I feel completely opposite." Kimbrell said, "I don't want any other parent or family to feel this misery." She said gun violence can affect everyone, regardless of political beliefs or background. Whether you're a Democrat or you're Republican, independent probably, whether you hunt or don't hunt, whether you live in the city or you live in the country, whether you own an assault rifle yourself or not, nobody should ever feel the panic and anguish that Annunciation, that's the school where the shooting occurred, felt that day. Sisters and brothers, these two comments from these two individuals are loaded. Loaded because I've read comments online. I have seen some of the things that some of our people have expressed. And I have to say that it's concerning. Some of them are concerning. Concerning because there are a few people in our population who take it for a joke because they feel probably they're not in harm's way, or it could not affect them or their family. And then you have those who are, as I said, casting blames, saying it's this person or that person who started it, so let them deal with it. But I dare say it is a universal problem. It is a national problem. It is a regional problem. It is an international problem. It is a problem that is affecting all and sundry, directly and indirectly. So nobody is immune. It doesn't tell the difference between your political affiliation. It doesn't tell the difference between our religious affiliations. It does not tell the difference whether we live in country or in town or in city. It doesn't care. The people who do it are not thinking about that. As to why it's happening, we may have some speculations. We may suspect certain things. We may have certain knowledge of what's going on in some of our communities. The reason, whatever they are, does not warrant the taking of a life of another. And so it is concerning. And these two statements are enough to tell us the painful reality of the effects of gun violence in our world, in our society, in our country, even. We cannot close our eyes to it, friends. We must not close our eyes to it and pretend as if it's not my problem. It's all of our problems. It's all of our problems. It troubles me. Yes, and I'm miles away, but it troubles me because it's my community, it's my country, it's my young people, it's the boys, it's the girls, it's the children. It's our children. They are our children. The boys getting shot are our children. The boys doing and the girls doing the shooting, these are our children. These are our people. So we all have a stake in it and must be genuinely concerned about the situation. Just to shed some light in terms of gun violence in general, I think we need to understand, get a background probably on this whole gun violence situation in the world. It is said that according to Amnesty International, and you can find those information on amnesty.org, amnesty.org, it says that gun violence is not a fix to our differences. It is not a fix to our differences. So there is a problem, fellas fighting for turf, whatever it is that they're fighting over, it cannot fix the problem because violence begets violence. Violence begets violence. It means if we choose violent means to solve our problems, it will only trigger more violence. I know it's not a popular message. Probably it's not what people want to hear. But in reality, that's what it is. Friends, we need a culture of peace, a culture of respect for life and humanity. If we fail to have these, we're not yet in a good place. An overview of gun violence. Gun violence is a daily scourge that threatens our most fundamental right, the right to life. More than 600 people die every day as a result of firearms violence, which is driven in part by easy access to firearms, whether legal or illegal. Now remember, this is from Amnesty International, and they are very concerned about this whole subject of gun violence and tend to create information and education on it to discourage its usage, of course. So it continues. Anyone can be affected by gun violence, but it often disproportionately impacts people of color, men and boys in deprived communities, and other marginalized groups. Now, remember, this is an international report, so it's not just in Dominica or St. Lucia or Martinique. It's saying it's an internationally recognized organization. So they give you a broad view of this subject matter. But there is a lot we can take from it. We're losing our black men in droves, and often by the hands of, unfortunately, their black brother, their black sister. Or we're losing our black women in droves, often by the hands of the black men and the black women. We killing each other. And does it make some of the people in the world happy? Yes, it does. Who doesn't quite like our skin color? Yes, and who very often are the providers and suppliers of the very ammunition used to destroy each other. Think about the bigger picture when you're planning to do these things. Is it worth it, guys? So it says domestic violence involving firearms also puts women at heightened risk of death or life-changing injuries. Sometimes the mere presence of firearms can make people feel threatened and fearful for their lives. They may be too afraid to attend schools or health facilities or social activities. People might be too scared to go out because of gun violence within any community. Community-wide gun violence may prevent services from fully functioning, which can harm access to education or healthcare. The vast majority of gun violence occurs outside of armed conflict settings. Yeah, a significant proportion in some states, more than half of firearm deaths are caused by suicide and accidents. Our human rights, friends, are not protected if our leaders fail to tackle fail to tackle and end the epidemic of gun violence and gun deaths. All and sundry must deal with the matter of gun violence. If we consider ourselves leaders in community, leaders in society, all of us, each of us has a responsibility to address the matter in a responsible way and to see what we can do collectively to deal with such a matter. It's not just Grand Bay people when it happens in Grand Bay. It's not just Fokole people and Stock Farm people when it happened in those areas either. It's not just Portsmouth people when it happens down there or in the north or people in the north. It's all of us collectively being called to make a difference, to do something about the situation. And it must be led by leaders, starting with the heads, the upper, and come down to the man in the grassroots. Sadly, it's happening in the grassroots. And so the man up there must come down there to start to lobby and talk with and find a way to dialogue with all. The police cannot solve the problem alone. Is there concern about the police force in some cases? Yes. But the police alone cannot solve the problem. Guys, friends, everybody, it is a universal problem, meaning all of us are affected directly or indirectly, or can be affected directly or indirectly, and or indirectly by gun violence. No one is immune. So we need to stop gun violence, period. I know saying that is not sufficient, but I will say it. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. We need peace in our communities. Sisters and brothers, it says gun violence threatens our rights to health, education, and life. The epidemic of gun violence can only be stopped by effective gun regulations and violence prevention program. Note the term violence prevention program. So it's a whole education on why it is important to prevent violence. Obviously, gun violence is only one aspect of violence itself. So a culture, perpetuating a culture where non-violence is the subject matter, how we can prevent violence, violence prevention. And I liked the terminology that was used many years ago by this man, Mr. Seja, Mr. Peter Seja. He's a sociologist who once said, we need to change the language from violence, non-violence, to a culture of peace. Speak in the positive. This is what we need. A culture of peace to be taught to our children everywhere, in every part. But when we teach our children to be vengeful, they hit you, hit them back. I see people have and glorifying tit for tat and butter for fat and so on. You know, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, because we think that's the way to go. It's not solving a problem. It's only perpetuating more violence in the society. I know it seems like the easiest way and the best option, but it's not, friends. If you think deeper, it is not. And we saw that happening back then in the time of the Bible with Cain and Abel, where Cain killed Abel, his brother, right? Blood, the blood of the innocent shed in a very violent manner is very dangerous for any country spiritually. Let's think about that. We say this and that. Oh, so many things happening in the country. Oh, this place is not, and all kind of negative expressions about the country. Not remembering that all this innocent blood that is being shed in the country is also dangerous for all of us, for everybody, because that blood is crying out and needs repose and needs to rest. Yeah. When we destroy each other in such violent ways, we are not helping our society, neither ourselves, nor our families, nor your ancestors, nor your descendants, your children, the people after you. You're not helping them in any way, shape, or form. So what is gun violence? How many guns are there existing? Right? The right to health. We have the right to health as well. What about that? Right to education. Children need to go to school feeling safe and free and not worry whether some person will come with a weapon like this to destroy them or their loved ones, right? There are lots of things pertaining to gun violence that we definitely need to deal with. So what is gun violence? Gun violence, it says, is committed with firearms, such as is violence that is committed, with firearms, such as handguns, shotguns, or semi-automatic rifles. You know, people even have rifles, in our country. Rifles. Bagay po war outside there in those places where they have in war. That's mad. What you doing with that? Truly, think about it. If it falls in the arms of your children, playing with it when you least expect, or your loved one not knowing, and by some accident, you yourself press it accidentally and kill them in your home. Have you thought about that? Have you thought about it, guys? Think about it. So more than 600 people are estimated to die every day. I said that by gun violence, with 2/3 of gun-related deaths, including suicides, occurring in just 6 countries. In descending order, Brazil, the United States of America, Venezuela, Mexico, India, and Colombia. Up to 71% of all homicides globally involve gun violence. The majority of victims and perpetrators are young men. The majority of victims and perpetrators are young men. Don't we see it happening in our country? Worried about our young male population because you guys are wiping out each other. You're not thinking about your generation. You're not thinking about the future. You're wiping out each other. You're leaving your children fatherless, right? Fatherless. Some of you have children. You don't think it will happen to you. You don't think. Think about it, guys. This is not the answer. So, again, I say the majority of victims and perpetrators of such crimes are young men. But, of course, there are women who are also at particular risk of violence from an intimate partner possessing a firearm. Sexual violence can also be perpetrated, via gunpoint. Firearms cause devastating injuries that leave a lasting impact on mental and physical health. Some gunshot victims will need intensive, long life care. Their whole life completely just destroyed, changed. Not being able to walk anymore, have spinal issues, cannot work as a regular person, become dependent rather than being independent. There are so many things that could possibly happen from a situation like this. Many people have little to no access to programs that offer adequate long term care and rehabilitation. Yet there are so many guns existing. So, how many guns are there, guys? How many guns are really there in the world? Well, let me tell you. From these statistics from amnesty.org, it says more than 1 billion firearms are in circulation globally. The vast majority, which is like about 85%, are in the hands of private individuals. The majority, in the hands of private individuals. 13%, 13% are in military arsenals, and 2% are owned by law enforcement agencies. This is hard to fathom, hard to believe. The majority of guns out there are held and kept and owned and are in the possession of by, you know who? Private citizens. They're not in the military. They're not government officials. They're not people who, and I'm not saying government officials need to have guns. I'm just saying they're not people who probably have, any real heavy purpose to have a firearm, but they have it. Some people have business, so they use it to protect themselves. Okay, okay. But some people who are private citizens have no business having guns, but they do. 85% have guns. 85%. Gun violence committed by private individuals is typically concentrated in low-income urban neighborhoods with high levels of crime, including drug trafficking. Punto final. Well said. This is one of the key factors of why gun violence is existing in our societies. Drug trafficking. Parents, talk to your children. Young men, young ladies, I know it looks lucrative. It looks as if you'll get quick money. But the problem is when you enter, it's hard to get out. When you enter, you're promised all that glitters. When you try to get out, your life is threatened by the very people who recruited you. Think about it. Do they love you? Do they love your family? Do they love your children? What are they really doing to you when you get into it, when you accept to be part of it? And then once you get in, you have to fight for your life and become a kingpin, like some of them, or try to be. And that's where the war starts. And you guys can see it. It's from one to the other. You kill my boy, I come for you. I come for you. Vengeance, hatred, unforgiveness, bitterness. This is dangerous. This is serious. And it saddens our heart because you guys are important. You guys are important. Very important to our society. We want your best selves. We want the best versions of you. We need the best versions of you. I know things are not perfect. I know the country doesn't have everything you possibly want. Probably it's not rolling how you want it to roll. But I also know that some of you have been offered opportunities and you think it's too slow. It takes too long to get a money, too long to get a salary. You prefer to do the hustle, the grind, the hustle, and put your life and that of your loved ones at risk. We need you guys. We need you. You are so important. And I feel like I don't even need to read more of that whole note, the right to health, the right to education. I just feel like I need to talk to you guys, you know. Some of you, you have had a hard life, probably no dad at home, maybe just your mom, your aunt, your granny, the people that you see all the time, and you love them. You love them. Sometimes when we hear people kill people, we think, oh, it is bad people. These boys are, and people say all the worst things. We know you all are normal people. Guys, you have hearts. You have hearts. Sometimes you harden them because you feel it's your form of protection, but you have hearts. We know you have feelings. You have blood running through your veins. You feel stuff. You feel good. You feel enjoyment when you're having a good time. You feel bad. You feel hurt. You feel angry sometimes. You feel frustrated. You feel depressed. All these are normal feelings, normal, and they're okay to feel. But how you deal with the feelings is important. We need you guys. We don't want you to kill each other like that. We don't want you to wipe out your brother. One time probably you guys were even friends. Probably you guys used to hang out together, grew up in school, maybe around the same age, going to school, playing little football, cricket, whatever game in the community, riding your bikes, going to the sea, maybe going to the park, doing similar things, or maybe even doing the same things because you guys were boys. And from that time, you started building friendship. But somewhere along the lines, you started becoming competitors. You start competing against each other for the small market, the small competitive market. And you start bouncing heads that you don't like and start disliking each other and digging holes for each other. And now we can see what's happening. I don't know who you are. I can't say it's you, it's you, it's you. It's not my place. But if you know who you are, or if you know somebody close to you, talk to them, talk to yourself, and talk to them. And let them know that this is not the answer to any problem. That you who feel, you who have a heart, you who have blood running through your veins, you who love, yes, you love. Because some of you boys who are involved in those things and are busy to kill the next person that you have a beef with, let somebody talk smack about your mother. Or let somebody, if you love your mother, or your sister, or your daughter, or your child, your son, your daughter, do something negative. And all your anger will come off because this is your loved one. You love. You know how to love. Maybe not every time in the right way, but you do love. And so you are a real person with a real heart, with real feelings. And so I'm appealing to your realness to consider, guys, the bigger picture. Is this the way you want your community to unfold? Is this the kind of community you truly desire to have? Even more, is this how you want to live your life? Running because you're not sure if the next boy who was the friend of the person that got killed, who you know about, is coming for you? Is it comfortable living with having to watch over your shoulders every time? Not sure if the person is behind you or coming to attack you? It can't be easy. It can't be the best life for you. Guys, there's a word called forgiveness. It comes from God. You cannot do it alone. You need Him to help you. I cannot put money in your pocket, but I'm sure genuine hard work can. Again, I know some people will say, oh, money, country don't have money, there is this. But there are opportunities for you to work genuinely to start your life over and to build up. Some of you have good skills with your hands that you can actually employ and create. Whatever the case, I know that the drug trade is very attractive, it seems, very attractive, but it's also very detrimental and dangerous because it cuts your life short as a young man, as a young woman, if you're involved. It cuts your life short, many, many times short. It deprives you of freedom to just sit and be at ease without watching over your shoulder. It makes you hate each other. It makes you loyal. Yes, you loyal to your partners until something happens and they switch on you. Because this is a deadly, evil act, by the way. And so people turn on people all the time. We know all the horror stories that have happened in our communities, in our society, as it pertains to drug trafficking. We know a lot of it, some too many to tell. So I'm not here judging you. I'm not here condemning you. I'm not here trying to tell you what to do, even. Who am I to tell you what to do? I'm only here genuinely with concern, deep concern for you, for each of you, trying to say to you, appealing to your heart, to think about the fact that we need you. We need each of you. The society needs you. Men were made to protect, to provide, to protect their loved ones and themselves, to provide for. And I know you will say that's what you're trying to do. But how is important. Because based on the choices that some of you may make, it won't be protecting your family and your loved ones. It will be putting them at heightened risk. Heightened risk, very high risk of not being protected. Because at that point, you who want to protect them may not be there to do it. Think about that. Do you want to leave your children without a dad? Without somebody to be there to look out for them? Do you want to leave your girlfriends, your wives probably, without their spouse, without their partner who's supposed to be there to love them and cherish them and protect them? Is that what you want to do? I'm sure you don't want that. But that's what happens. And that is what will happen if you guys continue with the war that some people claim is on. I know some people who are in your lives, they will fan the flame. They will tell you, boy, do your thing. They will encourage you to get deeper into the fire, but they won't come to get you out. They won't be there to throw water on you when the fire catch. Instead, they will say, boy, mister, boy, I want me story. It was too late. They will never be honest with you to tell you that the choice that you're making and that you have made is dangerous for your life. They don't love you if they don't tell you. Guys, our society needs you. Your children need you. Your parents need you even. And parents, some of you know, and you don't do anything about it. Some of you know, and you talk to your children and keep on doing that. Keep praying for them and talking for them and warning them. If you've done it and you're doing that, God bless you. But if you're a parent and you know that your children or your child is involved in these things and you have it undercover and you do not warn them, you do not ask them to leave that thing, you do not tell them to help them to see the danger of that and how you are also at risk, then you're not helping yourself. And you're not loving them as you should, as a responsible parent. I just want to say, guys, that you all are important to us. You're important to society. And I want to call on the authorities in the land, the police, the government, the opposition, the leaders, the civil and religious leaders, everybody, all and sundry, parents, teachers. We need to have a collective approach to dealing with this situation. Collective approach, not a half-half thing. Not, is that their problem and not mine? No, it's a collective approach to engage those we know in a positive and healthy environment and to discourage that behavior collectively together. Our society belongs to us. And if we let it go wild, we will lose it wildly and sadly. I know some people will say, oh, because you're talking. No, I've spoken before in my country while I was there. If you remember, some of you will remember when we were having that early instances of these shootings, I tried to create a movement that spoke to saving our boys, our men. Preserving was the terminology that was used. Preserving our boys. I got flack for it because I'm a girl, I'm a woman. So how you can talk about preserving boys and you're a woman? I don't know. If nobody's doing it and it's on my heart, I should do it, shouldn't I? I should. I should at least try. But it was a movement that incorporated not just ladies, but across the board, we had leaders, religious leaders, school personnel, education personnel, sorry. We had community leaders, youth leaders from youth organizations. Across the board, we tried to bring people together to dialogue on what it is we could do as a community. We know what happened, those of us who were involved in it. We know what happened, and I don't want to rehash some of what happened. But I will say that I'm disappointed in some of what transpired by some of the people who sought to try to hijack the movement because they thought I had ulterior motives, which was to me ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. My social conscience and my social consciousness is enough for me to want to make a difference in my community. I don't need to be having any ulterior motive. I ain't looking for nothing extra. I just want to see love existing among my brothers, love existing among my sisters, and the protection of our boys because we are losing our men. And I'll tell you, spiritually, when we lose our men, we have lost a very significant part of our livelihood and our society. We know it. The devil laughs, ha ha ha, when we lose our men. Because the less men you have in your society is the more leeway for ridiculousness to happen. If we do not have good men in our society, not just having men, but men who are God fearing, men who understand their role in society and who are willing to live up to it. We need you, young men. I'll say it again. Like I said it before, it breaks my heart. It's concerning, and I know it breaks many hearts of many adults and many, even young people who are concerned. Of course, some of your own friends are concerned. Believe me, they may not tell you because they may not want you to get mad at them, but they are concerned about you, I'm sure, and what is happening. And if you have to run for your life, then you know it's not a good thing. If you have to literally run because somebody's chasing you for your life, it's dangerous. This world is not our home. We're just passing through. But I believe as we pass through, we must pass through leaving a good legacy, leaving a good mark, not a mark that is so stained and tarnished by violence. I love you guys. I care for you guys. Every single one of you, young men. Don't know who you are, but you're from my town, you're from Dominica, my country. You're part of us, you're our people. We care about you. I'm sure your parents' hearts are bleeding. Some of them are afraid to tell you, but their hearts are in bobo. You know the term. Their hearts are sore, just worried about you. Please give your parents a good sleep tonight. Give your parents a good sleep in the next few weeks. Give your parents a good sleep by you making a decision to quit that lifestyle of violence against each other. There's a problem. You want to solve it? Get somebody in the community who you all can trust and ask them to talk to you all in the same room probably or across some walls, whatever it is. But I believe it's possible. Discussion, dialogue. These are going out of style. They seem boring and time consuming, but they saved many lives before and have the potential to do it again. I want to end here for now. And I want to say to you all one more time, your life is precious. Precious to God. He's jealous for you. He wants you in his heart, in his life. He wants you to be part of his journey, not hurting each other, but living happier lives. May God bless all of you. Please, let's stop the violence and let's look out for each other. God bless you. Thank you. Those of you who took the time to view, Thank you very much. Please share this with your friends who you know probably need to just hear it. And share your comments with me, your thoughts. I'm not here to banter. I'm not here to accuse anybody. I'm not here for a war or no. I'm just here for a simple message. Simple message. We love you guys. We love the boys. We are tired of losing you all. Your life is more precious than that. Your life is more precious than that. See you all around. God bless you one more time. Thank you all very much.